Welcome to Women Don't Do That, where we empower you with inspiration, knowledge, and skills to redefine your boundaries and unleash your potential. I'm Stephanie Minton, founder and CEO of Beacon Strategies and your guide. Small town girl turned CEO while navigating career, motherhood, ADHD, and chronic migraines. Our conversations range from interviews with visionary women to solo episodes filled with actionable insights. We are your hub for turning what ifs into let's go. Are you ready to redefine your possible? Let's get started. Today we're joined by the remarkable Ninia Eden Schmitz. Ninia Eden brings a wealth of experience in the business and marketing field and has worked within the educational sector, making her the perfect guest for today's discussion. I'm thrilled to have Ninia here to shed light on my latest project, the Beacon Mentorship Academy. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Steph, you're already juggling so much, and you'd be absolutely right about that. But when passion meets purpose, there's no stopping to drive the creativity. With a growing team backing me up, including Ninia and her experts in marketing and branding, I'm excited to share this new venture with all of you. Stay tuned to learn why this initiative matters and what it means for you. Without further ado, let's dive into it with Ninia Eden. Welcome, Ninia Eden.
Thank you so much. It's great to be on here as I'm, working on the back end. Just getting onto this side of the gate is quite interesting and really fun. But as you know, we have something really exciting to talk about today. So
I can't believe we're here. Like, we need to celebrate that this is actually happening after months
yeah,
of planning, that we're here celebrating the launch and sharing the news with people and how they can be involved.
yeah, it's quite incredible actually. It's fun and we lots of roadblocks and things to get through, and you know what? Yeah, definitely something to definitely celebrate for sure. Yeah. Well, before we get into it, let's talk a little bit more about, you mentioned your other brands. What all do we have going on here?
Yeah, I think it's helpful to talk about because I do have my fingers in a lot of things and people are a bit confused sometimes about what are you up to and what does what. So first off, I lead Beacon Strategies, which is a boutique public affairs consultancy. To achieve your advocacy and government relations outcomes is really the focus of that. And it has three related ventures. Women Don't Do That, which is our podcast and blog, empowering women with inspiration, knowledge, and skills to redefine their boundaries and unleash their potential. Then we have the Next Gen Conference, which some of you may have heard about. We had an earlier episode on this initiative, which also launched this year, and it's an annual national professional development conference for people in public affairs. This event is happening on May 21st this year, 2024, in Ottawa. So there are still a few tickets left, not many, but some. If you want to grab them, we can put the details in the show notes. And now, of course, we're adding in the Beacon Mentorship Academy.
And well, Mentorship Academy, why don't you explain that a little bit more?
In short, it's really expert-led professional development courses, and they'll include things and options for public policy, advocacy, and business.
How does this relate to the Next Gen conference you're putting on this month for professional development in public affairs? Like,
I
how
would
do these
say,
connect?
right, for me, both initiatives are an extension of each other. When
Mhm.
I reflect on my commitments to professional development, empowering the next generation, fostering innovation in public affairs, these initiatives really fit within those boxes for me.
I think the only additional question I had was more about why a teacher? Like you're leading, this mentorship academy, and obviously you're in the instructor role. Why a teacher? How do you find you make a great teacher? I would say.
Mm. I would start off by saying I love people. I'm very extroverted and I love spending time with people. And funnily enough, talking. I love talking. When I was a kid, I got called blabbermouth a lot by my sister for just talking so much. I was always able to turn around and teach anything I was taught or learned. And this especially happened to me at gymnastics, which ended up with me being a gymnastics coach. I coached for a long time in my late teens, started coaching when I was 14, and it started a natural progression where if someone taught me how to do a back handspring, I would remember all the steps and then I could teach someone else. And I've always felt that way. If I've learned a skill, I've always been able and enjoyed teaching it to someone else. My dad taught at college his whole career. He was a professor at Algonquin College, and my sister is a teacher as well. So I don't know if that means that it's in the blood, but it's something that's very natural to me. I think most of my colleagues at places I've worked will share that as well because I feel like I've given workshops at most of the places where I've worked on different topics. And some of those topics are things that I actually teach in the Beacon North Academy now.
Okay. Well, what spurred the idea of starting courses in the first place and training, for instance?
There's actually a number of different things. The first for me was identifying a gap in my field. There's limited teaching and training that happens in my field. There's more emphasis on media relations, I would say, than other aspects of public affairs or advocacy. And the second I would say is that it's an extension of my belief and desire to empower others. And sometimes I like to think about it from the perspective of working myself out of a job. And, some people want that ongoing consultancy and some people want to learn to do it themselves. And I'm happy to address either of those needs. I think it also makes professional development accessible and bridges gaps where people can access courses when they're at the start of their journey or they just want to tip their toe into it or that's what their resources allow is to take a course. Another thing that I hope to do with the academy is to help diverse professionals thrive, not just public affairs, but also people in business and to reach a global audience, which I'm really excited about. Through the initial courses that we've taught at Beacon North Academy, we have had some global visitors and global audience, and I'd really like to expand that. Just like with the podcast, we have listeners from over 50 countries joining us today. So maybe some of you will jump in and take some of our professional development courses. And I also think it's a smart business model. It diversifies what I'm doing in my business. I'm somebody who has chronic health issues, and so it also allows for me to thrive in life and in my business as well.
Okay. So you started off with courses and then we transitioned into the academy. How did we get there? How did this all come together?
Well, that's where you come in, Ninia. I first thought that in order to level up the courses that I was teaching, that I needed to get some professional help, which is why I reached out to yourself in terms of the marketing and branding. And as we started really unpacking that, you had suggested that maybe it should look a little bit differently than I was initially thinking in terms of leveling up to a mentorship academy. The other thing I would add to that is I do find that there is a lot of interest in our courses. I'm doing a lot more proposals for people who are coming to me and asking us to do courses that are tailored to their needs. And so I'm just seeing the opportunity to lean into that more. But in terms of unpacking this further, what I will really want to know is more from you about why did you think that we should turn this from courses into a mentorship academy?
To be honest, like when I first met you, you did very much come off like how you talked about. I asked you a couple of fundamental questions just about why you taught courses, what the reasoning was behind that. And it just like you did very much sound like a teacher. And it
Mhm.
sounded like you really wanted to spread your knowledge and help people. And not everybody wants the consulting route, as you said.
Mm.
And I felt like there was so much there, and we really needed to reorganize and really establish what you were wanting to do. So instead of doing one-off courses, really putting this more scheduled kind of approach, more school, we felt like that would be a lot more beneficial to people rather than just randomly taking a course.
Mhm.
As you know, with these courses, they will help with people, advancing in their careers, with LinkedIn certificates and different things they can use. So yeah, we just wanted to kind of, you had all the right pieces. We just needed to put it all together, package it up, make sure it made sense to who you were speaking to, and we think you were the perfect person to do that because, like, again, you have that passion that not everybody has. So we wanted to build on that. That was why.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
How did you feel about the suggestion? I'd like to know because I know there was a bit of a gap that, we talked, I pitched, this idea, and I don't know if we've really discussed that. So how did you feel about it?
I think it's really interesting for me because I generally am a person that's quite comfortable with risk and that will make bold moves and says yes a lot. And so I remember when you first suggested it to me, I was taken back. It felt very bold and big, which normally I love when I'm working in public affairs. Like, if the prime minister is the right person to be involved in something that I'm doing, like, we're going to the prime minister. Like, if that's the best starting point, that is where you start. And so it really surprised me that I felt that way in response to what you shared, because I normally don't feel like that. And so I had to wrestle through those feelings a bit. And I'm a big dreamer. When people say to me, "Oh, like, how many people would you like at that course?" Or "How many people would you like at this event?" I don't even want to give a number because I'm like, the sky's the limit. Like, there are no boundaries. And so for me, I felt honored and scared by the fact that someone else was believing in me bigger than I had believed in myself, because I'm such a big dreamer that that rarely ever happens to me. And so it took me some time to think about it, to talk to trusted advisors. And now I'm all in the idea, clearly, because we've already launched and I'm really excited about it.
So your day job, you're a lobbyist. Now you're teaching. How do we connect the two? Are you moving on more to teaching, but more regularly, I would say?
Right. Well, first off, I'm definitely not quitting lobbying. I love what I do, and I do think it really helps me inform my teaching and training to have that practical experience and to be always honing those skills. One of the things about working in things like advocacy is it's a fast-paced, changing environment. There's always new things you need to learn. And so being involved in that way, I think, allows me to be a better teacher and trainer. I think for us, it's something that we actually integrate into our client work. And so it's actually a benefit to our clients, because if our clients are coming to Ottawa for the first time, even when I worked at other consultancies, you do some teaching in terms of you're giving them a briefing and you might give them a few tips, but we'll actually often, if the client desires it, integrate full courses into training them and their staff so that they can be more effective for what they're doing in Ottawa. And so it's also a benefit to our clients as well. I really love helping people. I truly care about your growth and your story and helping you further your skill sets. That's important to me. And so I think that's another reason why I teach. And then finally, I would say it's really how I got to where I am today. I came from a rural community. When I came to Ottawa, I knew one other person that worked in politics when I moved to Ottawa for university. And so I really do want to help others so that they can have the types of opportunities or the limitless opportunities that I have had that came from people mentoring and investing in me and giving me a chance.
Okay, so in basic terms, how does the academy kind of work?
Periodically, we'll offer trainings and courses for people to sign up for, but then we'll still be open for people to hire us to do tailored trainings as well. So we are going to continue with that model of doing both. We have a new website that we've launched. We're going to link that in the show notes. And so people can learn all about that information there. And they can also sign up for our newsletter. And we're going to put the links in the show notes where you will find out about the different options when they become open so that people can sign up and be engaged.
Great. And are the classes, are they online? Are they in person? Like, are they live? Do you...
Yeah, so we do actually a little bit of both. We often teach online because it helps in terms of meeting people globally and across the country, but we have done them in person. And there will be some that are live and some that are asynchronous and some that are mix of both. And so we hope to develop different kinds of options, partially because it helps busy people, and partially because I really love interacting with people. And so I like building in those moments to answer questions and be with people because that's what I enjoy most, I think, about the teaching experience and the coaching.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, and what kind of courses are we offering here?
So we're offering things that will benefit people who work in public affairs and advocacy, but we also are taking some of the skill sets we use in that field and also teaching them to other people. So there'll be some courses that fit in an advocacy box, maybe some that fit in a business box, and some that fit in a bit of both. So I'm going to give you just some high level, here's some of the different things that we'll have coming throughout your time with the Academy. So we have things about advocacy campaigns or strategic communications, how to cut through the noise with media relations, things like introductions to advocacy or government relations one-on-ones, things like digital advocacy or how to plan and execute a lobby day. But then we'll also have things that can benefit you, whether you're in public affairs or not, like speech writing or networking or strategic meetings, briefing note writing, storytelling. These are all things that transcend those boundaries, and also offering some things that are more business related as I'm becoming more involved in this field and somebody who's now running multiple brands, that I want to be able to teach some of that to folks as well. For instance, things like how to be a good consultant, practices in that field, things like that. And we hope over time to continue to develop that part of our work as we grow with the Mentorship Academy. If anybody is interested in other courses from me that I haven't listed, for you podcast listeners, you've been listening to me for over 4 years now, I think. And so if you're like, I would really love to know this, or could you teach something on this, or you've talked about this, I want to know more, feel free to DM me on Instagram because I would love to tailor courses that people who listen to the podcast are interested in, maybe if it's something specific. So feel free to ask for that as well, because I'm happy to try to integrate that into some of what we're doing.
And who's doing the teaching? So is it just you?
It's myself, but also, as I like to say, some of my smart expert friends. I am a person who loves to learn myself, and I'm even seeking out course areas that I personally want to know about more myself, or maybe are experts in different parts of the field than I am. And so I'm really excited about that. So it will be me, but also some of my friends.
Well, and how is in your own personal life, how did professional development, things like these courses help you
I
personally?
That's a really good question. I can think about one particular area where it was really helpful was becoming a manager, because you get some hands-on experience for leading different projects, but I really wanted to be a really good manager. And I remember when I was interviewing for my first management role, you're gonna laugh at this, Ninia, I actually bought Management for Dummies and read it so that when I did the interview, I could use manager speak, because I didn't know the type of language to answer the questions that would translate for the person speaking, that I knew I had some experience that prepared me for that role. And so I wanted to make sure I used some of the right language. So I read that book, but then once I was in the role, I was also very thankful to do some different courses that they sent me on for professional development. I did one on management, and then I also did one on like generational management, and that was really valuable to me because I was working with folks on my team older than me, younger than my team, younger than me. I was a director and very young at the time. I
Mhm.
think I was early 30s. And so I really needed to learn how to do those things, and that really helped me. And so I love learning. I love courses, podcasts, and just learning and growing all of the time. And so it seeps into everything that I do, is that love for learning. And so it really has shaped me.
That's fantastic. And you know what? Information comes from all sorts of different places. Yeah, no,
Hmm.
that's too funny. Okay, well, future plans. What are long-term goals for the Mentorship Academy? And how do you envision growth and impact over time?
I'm really excited about helping as many people as possible. That's really exciting to me. I always love to go big and go home. And so we have had some international guests, but I'm excited about what the opportunities are globally. And I'm also excited about becoming one of the go-to places, the go-to practitioners to lead public affairs professional development in Canada.
It's fantastic.
Okay,
Okay,
Ninia.
yeah, that's all my questions I have today. Thanks so much. I appreciate you answering these.
Well,
And
before we close off, Nini, I'm going to turn the tables on you
uh-oh.
because we like to ask our guests some closing rapid fire questions. And I'd like to do that with you today. So, can you share a rule you've broken that turned out to be a great decision?
Yeah, I'm not sure about a specific rule. I will say that you definitely need to break rules, conventional rules, just being a woman in business.
Hmm.
I do feel like I've always kind of done life backwards. So haven't gone through the traditional route through my career, through my personal life. So yeah, I feel like probably from the outside in, I've broken a lot of rules super laid out.
Yes, I like
Yeah.
that. Who's a woman who continually inspires you?
Um, I have a lot actually. And you know what? They're all like historical women, I have to say, like Catherine the Great. Um, who else? Bernice Fitzgerald, a marketing woman. Yeah, there's so many. They're leaders. Women are such great leaders, you know.
Hmm.
So there's definitely a lot of those.
What's one book that has significantly impacted your wisdom or perspective?
This one isn't to do at all with my own career, but Romeo Dallaire Shake Hands with the Devil. I
Hmm.
probably read it too young, probably near when it came out, to be honest, during the 90s. But it definitely impacted my life quite a lot and made
Hmm.
me see things from a whole different angle of the world.
Yes, for those
Um,
who don't know, it's about the Rwandan genocide.
yeah, Romeo Dallaire, yeah, he's a fantastic Canadian.
Hmm.
But yes, anyway.
Well, thank you for taking the time to join me today and walk through what's happening, the most exciting thing that we're launching right now, which is the Academy. We hope people will check it out. And thank you for your time today, Ninia.
No worries. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thanks for joining us on Women Don't Do That. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a rating or review. Connect with us on Instagram at Women Don't Do That and visit our website www.womendon'tdothat.com for more details. Join our Patreon to support our work. Find all of the links in the show notes. Remember, you have the power to transform your what ifs into let's go. Together, let's redefine your possible. Until next time.